TemPad? Well, a UI prototype of a TemPad app that can run on my iPhone. And basically, I'm gonna teach you how to get this TemPad on your phone using Figma. So here's our TemPad. Now, this isn't an app, even though it looks like an app. This is actually running in a software called Figma. And what I'm looking at now is the prototype link. I'm guessing a lot of you here don't know what Figma is, and so let this be your quick introduction on Figma, and then we'll get into how to actually get this running on your phone. But as you can see, we got our time door. You can see the different locations or times that you want to jump to. You can go back to the home screen and check out the directory. Now we can look at the branching. So let's have a look at that. Oh no, look, we are approaching the red line. Oh, what's causing it? It looks like it's me. Okay, and I've also set up the personnel list. So if you want to put yourself in here, you can, but right now we have it set up to Hunter C20 using a picture that I could find because it was hard to get the original. And as you can see, she is currently deceased. I made this and I'm gonna teach you how to set this up and make it yourself and customize it to whichever phone you want to use and not just use an iPhone. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so if you're new here, I'm Izzy and this is essentially a design channel. So the software that we're using in this video is called Figma, which is design software that I use to create apps or websites or basically just the design of different digital products. Now, I'm guessing a lot of you are here who are not from a design background, so maybe we'll just go through what Figma is just a little bit so you have a quick introduction. Now, Figma is essentially a design tool. We can use it to create designs, to prototype, and work on design systems. If you don't understand how app development works, you usually start with a set of pictures or this UI design that you then can pass on to developers so they can turn this design into actual code. Essentially what this is a set of pictures that link you to other pictures, and it helps you feel the experience. So, you know, it's not a real TemPad, it's not even coded, it's just a set of pictures with custom buttons that link to other pictures. And you can see here when I click on the screen, the hot links, as you might say, to other pictures. So if I click on time door, that'll take us to this picture, which is the picture of the selected times for the time door. And then if I click on directory, it'll take us to this picture of the directory, and nothing is coded, so a bunch of things don't actually work, but it essentially behaves as a prop, and you can use this as a prop. Yeah, that's Figma. If you want to go into the file and play around by yourself, the software is completely free. There is a membership, but you don't actually have to pay for that. You can just use it. My file is freely available on Figma community. If you want to download it and search for it, just search @Izzy on Figma community. I'll leave the link below. But yeah, that's essentially what Figma is. Now we're gonna go to the fun stuff, which is how to get this app on your phone. Now, before we get started, it would be great if you could subscribe and like the video and leave a comment so I know what you want to know about, because this video is basically structured by you guys, since a few of you asked questions. So thanks. Okay, so now on to the fun stuff. How do you get this on your phone? Well, I'm gonna break this part up into 3 sections. One is for my iPhone users, the next one's for my Android or non-iPhone 10 users, and then the last one is for all my overachievers out there who want to learn how to use this design kit and make your own screens. But let's go back to our iPhone 10 users. There are two ways that you can do this, and both ways are super simple. One is probably more simple than the other, and that is using an app called Proto. Now, this isn't just for the iPhone users, this will also work for people with the same screen resolutions as an iPhone. So you might as well try this out. If it looks a bit messed up, then you gotta jump to section 2. But anyway, what you're gonna need to do is download the app Proto, and then down in the description below, you'll see my prototype link. Just take it, put it into the app, and I'll walk you through it. So open the app, you'll have this option to add a prototype. In add a prototype, just copy the link from the description, put it there. I already have this running, so I've already set this up, so I'm not gonna paste the link right now, but yeah, save it. Once you've saved it, you'll get this thumbnail that says TemPad or whatever you call it, and just run it. And it should work. It'll take a few seconds to load. Give it a sec. And there you have it. So you're gonna have to keep it in landscape mode. If you turn it, it's gonna fill the screen to be edge to edge on the side. So just make sure you have it in landscape. And yeah, you can go around. I'll just tap on things for a bit. And then yeah, you wanna go back, it's this arrow here. And if you wanna go back to the menu or the dashboard, it's the squares at the bottom. Okay. And now let's go on to the second method that you can do this. So the second method is using the official app from Figma. What you're gonna need to do is you're actually gonna have to set up a Figma account to get this one to work. So you go into your Figma account and then you download this file that I'm using to present this. Let me take you through it. So go into the community tab. Once you're there, just search for my file or just search for me. You can search Izzy. Go under creators and you should see my name. There we go. There's Izzy. You'll see that my TemPad file is like the first thumbnail you'll see. It's gonna look a bit different because I'm working on this file right now and we're making changes as this tutorial goes on, but basically just duplicate this file. And then once you have it duplicated, you'll see this, or you'll essentially see this cover. And then you're gonna need to go to the prototype page. Now, you might end up not being able to see the list of pages. Just click over here and you'll see an expanded list of pages. Go to prototype and then you'll see this and it'll say click on screen. Now, to get this to work, you're gonna need to open up the app Figma Mirror, which is the official Figma mirroring app from Figma. So just, yeah, you can download that. And what it does basically is it mimics whatever, or it mirrors whatever you have on your computer. So all you need to do is click on the screen and then it'll start loading. Now let's go on towards my Android users or people with different screen dimensions. So non-iPhone 10 users, maybe you got an iPhone 6 or whatever it is. You're gonna need to know how to resize the screen to fit your dimensions. This part's gonna be a bit of a tutorial, but don't worry, I'm gonna make sure it's super simple for you. It's super easy process anyway. But yeah, let's just get into it. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna have to figure out what your screen dimensions are. And then you're gonna have to resize the frame. So let's go into our prototype and let me just demonstrate this. So I'm gonna make a duplicate of this home screen page. Let me start off my keycaster. I'm just gonna make a duplicate. When you go into the file, this is gonna be gone because I don't want it to mess up with our prototype. But let me just show you how you resize this. So I've already set up the screens to respond to you adjusting the size. So all you're really gonna have to do is just adjust the size and everything should adjust according to what you want. Now, this might not be perfect because the constraints don't change as nicely, but let's say you wanna move things around again, you can just go ahead and like place it in a better position. You just gotta go in, drag and drop. Maybe you wanna center this, you can put it in the center. Now, I'm just gonna delete this and we're gonna go again. So I'm gonna copy this TemPad homepage. Now let's say you have a generic Android phone, which is probably gonna have these dimensions. Okay, now at the start, it's gonna show off in portrait mode. Just switch that to landscape mode, and this is basically the size of the screen that you're gonna have. A little trick though is that this might be too bunched up and crowded. You have two options here. You can either move the elements on the screen a bit so that they fit more properly, or if we undo this, you can stretch this out and maintain the dimensions, because the dimensions are really what Figma Mirror pays attention to. So I'm going to stretch this out, and then you can pull like the content in to fit a bit better. Now this should look pretty good on your Android phone. And to demonstrate this, what we can do is we can click prototype, and what you'll see here is an option to view a different phone size. So I would just want to check Google Nexus. I'm going to make sure this is in landscape mode. Okay. And now if we want to run the prototype, we can run prototype 2 or flow 2, and it should give us like a bit of a view of what this might look like. You can kind of see it on my iPhone. If I click on the screen, it fills the page so that it matches the dimensions of an Android. Now, this is not an Android, so the dimensions don't work out properly, but that's basically what you got to do. Now, to bulk resize everything, what you can do is select all the files or all the pages by clicking Command A or Control A. And if you go into the design panel on the top right, you can change the width and height of everything so that it all changes at the same time. So for example, let's just, actually, I'm gonna have to lock these non-screen pages. I'm gonna lock those so that you guys can easily select everything. So you can drag everything across. Let's change the frame to, what should we change it to? An iPad mini. Everything changes at the same time. Now, it's not gonna be perfect. You're gonna have to resize things again, but you can basically get this running on your iPad now. And yeah, all the links should work or behave as expected, with the exception of maybe the graph, because there's a lot of complex animations in there, and it's gonna be a bit weird for me to set that. You're just gonna have to try and adjust it yourself. Okay, so, oh wow, we gotta undo it one by one. Okay, so this is gonna take a while to load. It's not that important. Just try it out on your phone. Let me know if it works, because it should. So yeah. Now we're gonna go to part 3, or the third section, which is for all my overachievers out there and you want to learn how to use this design kit to recreate any screen. This is gonna be the way. Now, originally I wanted to create this like deceased status screen, or this personnel screen. I think what we're gonna end up doing though is, because I want you to learn how to make new screens on your own without additional support, let's just make a new screen in this tutorial. So if we look at all the screens that we have the home screen, we have the time door screen. This is a new one that I made. We have, I guess, another home screen that I am going to delete very quickly. We have this directory screen. We have this personnel list with all the different people on the list. We have this personnel status, and we have this graph. Now, something that I think would be interesting for us to work on is actually from this directory. So missions is something that I think would be interesting. It's just going to be a list of different dates, I guess. And then on the left side panel, we can have like a little description of what the mission was. So let's go ahead and make this mission. And that will be our recreation session today. So So this is what we're doing now. This is going to be a tutorial on how to use this design kit. It's very simple. I just want you to know how to make new screens if you ever decide to. So we're going to start off by working with an iPhone X frame. To do that, I'm going to press A to bring up this frame tool. What I'm just going to do is what I usually do is I just tap and then it drops in a frame that you can adjust by going to the right hand side where it says frame here. Just tap on that and we're going to select iPhone 11 or iPhone X or whatever it is. The dimensions are the same. So I'm just going to turn this to landscape. I'm going to click Command R to rename this frame and we're going to call it mission. Now, I want this to be in black, or we're gonna need to work in black. So we go here, I've already set up a few color styles. You can just select black and we're pretty much good. Okay, now the first element that we have on this page is the background, which I already have assets set up. Now, what I'm gonna walk through with you now is how to use assets or components that I've already created and put them into the file. So in the left-hand panel, if you click on assets, you'll see all the assets that are listed in this file. If you want to look at them more closely, I've kept them organized within this page called components. And now you can see we have our core visuals, which is our colors, typography, icons, and images. We have our components, which is our components and our background basically. And yeah. If you want to learn how to set these things up or set up this type of component system, you can check out my other videos on design systems. But right now, I'm just going to teach you how to use the design kit. So let's go back into our working page. And what we're going to need is you know what? We're going to need to grab a reference. So I'm going to go into the prototype file and just grab a reference image of something that I created and you can use as a reference. So if we're gonna make the mission page, I want it to look a bit similar to this saved times or this time door page. So I'm just gonna take this and copy it. Now we're gonna move into our working page and I'm gonna paste that reference in. So here we go. Okay. Now what you can see is that there's always this background with the grid. So I'm gonna go ahead and find that background by typing in background and it should be there. So you can either type this in and hopefully the way I've named things is very intuitive, or you can just go through the list and see if you can find what it is that you're looking for. But yeah. Anyway, we don't want to use this logo down here. So on the right hand side, I've set up a few variations that you can use. So you can either have the logo in the corner or have the logo raised or just no logo at all, but we're gonna go no logo at all. And I also have an option to turn on the date, but for this, we're not gonna use the date, so I'm just gonna leave that off. Okay, so what we wanna do is I wanna maintain the same dimensions that are on this page. So I'm gonna copy this and I also wanna use this writing here, and I also want to take this image here. So the way I'm going to select everything is I'm going to click once on one of the things that I want. So I want to take this outer border and then I want to take the text on the inside. Now, in some cases, you won't be able to select it. Don't worry. What you can do is hold Shift while holding Command and you can start clicking on the inside. So I've just selected the text. Oh, actually, I'm gonna move over to the layers panel just to inspect this component a bit more. So it looks like I already put everything into a frame. So what that means is that if I drag this around, everything inside that frame kind of sticks together. So if I try to copy the frame and then I copy the inside of the frame, it's not gonna work. It's just gonna let me select what's inside. But anyway, I think maybe to make things easier, I'm just gonna take the whole frame, I'm gonna copy that, and I'm going to paste that into our mission. Now, this isn't what I want the mission to look like. I want this to change. I think what we don't need is, we're gonna try and maintain a consistency. So I'm gonna change the select time to select mission. And maybe just so you know, this is not a good example of a UI. It's just I tried my best to maintain the poor UI design of the existing TemPad. So don't take this as an example. This is just completely for fun. It's a prop. If you want to see how to make real apps, go check out my other videos. But yeah, anyway, we got select mission there. We have this image here. So I want to have like an image of the location of the mission, and then the time of that mission. And then I actually want to change this. What I want instead is a picture of the personnel that joined this mission. So what I have is this component, which is basically, what did I name it? Image button. So we have the person's image, and then we have a label. So what I want to do with this is that I actually want to use it as an indicator of who actually went on the mission. So we're going to pretend that Hunter went on the mission. Hunter, what was her name? Hunter C20. And then I'm just going to drop that into here. Now the sizing might be a bit off, but you can just, you should be able to resize it. I think the proportion sizing is messed up, so I'm just gonna go in and fix that. This should be fixed when you get into the file. Okay, so we're gonna center on top. Okay, so now if I go into the file, it should have shrunk as well. Okay, there we go. Now the issue here is that it's too long to fit. That's fine. We're gonna make this frame scrollable. So I'm just gonna paste the image into the frame first. Now, when you paste the image, you gotta make sure that you've clicked into the frame. Otherwise, it's gonna paste outside of the frame and it's just gonna be a bit of a mess. So you can see from the bottom here, from the layers on the side, I've already selected my frame. And then when I paste my image in, it goes into that frame. So now it's under, it's like a sub, it's like a child of the frame. So I'm gonna move this a bit so that it fits. And then I wanna have at least 2 people on the mission. Like we wanna show at least 2 people on the mission. So let's just go in, let's change the face on this. I don't really have a face, so let's just go into our prototype and steal someone's face. Actually, we might as well just steal the image completely. So I'm just gonna copy these from my prototype, bring it to the working page, paste it in, and let's resize all of them so that they're the same size as this image, which has a width of 111. Convenient, nice number. So I'm gonna go in, click on these, tap in 111, and now they've thinned out and we can just drag them in and use them. Okay. So editor Izzy here. So I realize it's kind of important for you guys to know how to change the image inside that image component. So I'm going to walk you through that in a part of the video that I made last time anyway, just watch it and you'll learn how to change the image. Okay. Now, what we want to do next is we want to add the picture of Hunter. So how do we do that? Well, if you look at this image component, we can see that there's the noise, which is this noisy layer at the top. And then we have this orange color layer, which changes everything to orange. You can turn it off if you want, I guess, but just to stay true to the app that we see in the series, probably best to turn it on. But then this image is the one that we replace. So how do we replace this image? Well, I'm gonna search for an image of Sasha Lane, because that's who this is. And we'll just take any picture. Let's go with this one where she's smiling. And I'm gonna copy the small preview so that our file isn't too big. And we'll go back to Figma. I'll paste her picture in. Now, how do you get this picture into this frame? Well, first, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to lock the noise frame. So Command-Shift-L. Then we need to lock this orange color layer. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this fill. So I've selected the image and I'm just gonna go to the right hand panel and select the image. So you can select to the left of the image, like this small little boxed area here. I'm gonna click Command C and copy that. And then I'm gonna click Command and then click on the image. So it's really important that you hold Command, and if you're on Windows, hold Control. But yeah, click into that image. And then what you're gonna do is do Command V to paste that image. And there we go, our image is pasted. And as you can see here on the fill of this image, there is the new picture of Sasha Lane and this former image, which was the horses. Now I can turn this off and show the horses again, or I can keep it on. I can also remove the horses by clicking this minus, and we're just gonna remove the horses. Now, if you wanna adjust this picture a bit, you can by just clicking on the image writing, and we can brighten it up a bit, maybe boost the highlights, reduce the shadows, reduce the contrast, so that's maybe bring down the brightness. Yeah, so that's essentially what I've done for many of the images.
Okay, image intermission done. Let's continue.
What you can do is just provide a full list of everyone that was on the mission. For now, I'm just gonna leave it as these two. Maybe we stretch this out a bit so that it fits a bit better. And then what I also want is probably a description of what happened during that mission. So right now there's a bit of an issue where these pictures stick out of the frame. What I'm actually gonna do instead for this is I'm gonna turn on this clip content. So I've selected the frame. If you click clip content, it'll cut off whatever is underneath this section. So right now it's cut. What I wanna do is I wanna add a section for what happened on this mission. So I'm just gonna press T and it should bring up a text box and you can just start writing. So okay, now that we have an issue, I want it to be fixed left or left aligned. So I'm gonna just tap on this on the right side. And I want the writing to be in paragraph font. So now we can just start typing away. So on the mission, we stopped the Earth from dying due to a mad scientist making a doom. Okay, this is getting too long. Okay, now because it's getting too long, I'm just gonna click escape and then I'm gonna drag this in so that we can actually see what we're typing. And also what I'm gonna do for now, just for now, is I'm gonna click and unclip this frame so that we can read what we're writing. And then I'm also gonna unclip the frame that's housing this whole TemPad mockup. Okay, so let's just continue typing. Dying due to a mad scientist making a doomsday bunker that starts the doomsday. So we pruned him and now the Earth is safe and no one is aware. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this underneath the images. Now how I'm gonna do that is I'm just gonna do simple positioning by pressing down. Now if we just press down, it's gonna be really slow, like it's gonna take a while. What we can do as a shortcut or like a quick way is to press shift and down, and it should start moving things down more quickly. Okay, now this looks like a good amount. Before I click out of the text, I'm gonna change the color. So if you go to fill on the right hand side and click on these 4 dots, you can see a set of color styles. These are my color styles that I want you guys to use. So just select the orange or TVA orange 100 and there you go, there's the description. Okay, now what we can do is let's go back to clipping this content so it's not visible. And then on the mission frame, we're also going to clip the content. Now, something that I want you guys to be aware of is that there's still a part where we need to set up the prototyping for this. So we're just right now setting up all the UI. Once we're done, we can set up the prototyping. So just stick around and then we'll get to that towards the end. Okay. Now, what we want is to take this whole section. I think what might be good for us is if we actually recreate this using the elements that I have or the components that I have. So let's just go ahead and do that. I'm gonna take one button as reference on the size and the positioning, and then we'll just use it as a reference. So I'm gonna paste this in. Oh, for some reason, it's not responding as I want it to. Oh, because I've set it in a frame, I actually have to take the whole frame for this to work. So I copied the whole frame. I'm gonna place it in here. And yeah, I'm just gonna stick it there for now. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna remove all the elements in here except for maybe this border, and I'm just gonna delete all of this. So now we have a reference as to how wide things should be if we want to keep it consistent with our time door screen. Okay, so let's just start putting in the buttons, or let's start putting in all our assets. So I'm gonna go search for button, and here is the button that I was using in the previous screen. So let's just drop that in. Okay, now to quickly copy these, I'm gonna hold Option or Alt if you have a Windows, and I'm just gonna drag it out. I think the spacing that I used was 12 pixels. Let's see. 12 pixels. Oh, if you want to see the spacing between things, hold Alt and you can see these numbers for all these like spacing dimension things. That's just a quick tip. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna start copying these and keep them 12 pixels apart. And now we're gonna run into the same issue that we had with it going over. I'm just gonna select everything really quickly, and then I'm gonna hold Command Option G to place this in a frame. So just have a look at this. You see all these selected layers right now? If you hold Command Option G, you put it in a frame. All the different things that I had, or all the buttons that I had previously, are now in this frame. I'm gonna change the name of this frame to Buttons, and then we want to clip the content in this frame. The way we're going to do that is I'm going to drag the edge of this frame and I'm going to drag it up. Now, it's good practice to also hold Command while you do this so that the contents of the frame don't get adjusted weirdly if you have constraints set up. Yeah, so even if it doesn't make sense to you, it's just good practice to hold Command while you resize things. Okay. Now I'm gonna resize this and close it off so it's in line with this select mission section. I'm gonna clip this content, and now that list is clipped. So we wanna just select the first one, and we're just gonna name it 2012 Earth. And then I'm just gonna steal names from all these other things that we have here. So yeah, you can make your own disasters if you want. Just go ahead, it's up to you. Okay, now just to make things quick, I'm just gonna copy these over. Now I realize that I can't see the bottom, so I'm gonna break this clipping just for a bit, just so that we can make the rest of the changes. Okay, let's add in some more Lamentis. Okay, now just to be quick, I'm gonna do a bit of a shortcut. We're gonna copy this and just drop it into the top by pressing Command V and pasting it in. Okay, and we're gonna have to readjust this because of some issues. Okay, actually, I'm just gonna center it by selecting both of them by holding Shift when I click on both of them and then aligning horizontal center. Now, this was on the line. This is currently not on the line, so let's just move this a bit. There we go. I'm gonna change the name of this to Mission History. Okay. I gotta make sure we're using our colors. All right. Now I'm gonna remove this border because it's not actually using the components, and I'm gonna show you how to put that in. So let's do this and delete this. I'm gonna go into the assets, find our divider. Where is our divider? Okay, here we go, our divider is there. I'm just gonna drop it in. I'm gonna drag this out of it because it needs to be a bit longer. Okay, so that's there. And I think what I did when I made this was align it to the line. So now it's aligned to the line. Now, as you can see, we're still missing this scroll bar. So let me just search for that scroll. Where is it? Scroll, searching. Yeah, sometimes you're gonna have to press X to reset the component search. And I ran out of video. I ran out of battery on my camera. Don't worry, we're just gonna continue. Let me move this scroll bar in. I'll just drop that in there. Okay, now that we have everything set up, I'm going to clip this content. I'm also gonna clip the frame. And I'm gonna drag this scroll bar down a bit so it matches up with the bottom of this section. Okay, now we want to make sure that this button is selected. So I'm gonna go here, select the button, go across to the right side panel and change this active to selected. Now that's our mission screen done. That's pretty much it. Now, something that you have to keep in mind is that this scroll bar isn't actually going to work. It's pretty much just an image or like a sticker that is always gonna be at this set position. Now, if you wanna make changes to the position of this bar, what you can do is go into these auto layout section and just, if you hover over this icon, you'll see your mouse turn into these two, or like this line with two arrows on both ends. Just click and then you can start dragging this in and out, and it should resize the position of the scroll bar. I think I may have to make changes because the background is changing too, but let me just update that, and it should be done by the time you get this file. Okay, but for now, let's just leave it where it was. And that's pretty much it. There you have it. Now, what we want to do is we want to prepare this for the prototype as well. And we got to include it into our prototype that we have in the prototype page. So I'm going to, first, we want to make sure that the scroll on this section and this section is working. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to click on the frame. Then you're gonna have to go to prototype. And in prototype, you'll see this overflow scrolling section. You gotta make sure that this is set to vertical scrolling because it is a vertical container with the content filling in vertically. We do the same thing for this button section. Make sure that it's scrolling vertically as well. And that is how you set up the prototype. Now, we're gonna need to copy this into the prototype page. Let's do that. I'm gonna turn on the camera first. Now, before we move this into the prototype page, I wanna show you that this scrolling thing works now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our phone and let's just open up Figma. And just to test, I'm gonna tap on this mission part. And as you can see, it's going to load. Just give it a second. Okay, as you can see, this section scrolls now, and you can read the description at the bottom. Oh, this is not what I wanted. Let's, we'll revise this. Actually, it's kind of cool. Maybe we'll leave it that way. And this section scrolls as well. So yeah, now let's move this into the prototype page. Okay, to do this, I'm just gonna copy it over. Prototype, here we come. Now, where do we place this? We gotta place this. Actually, I wanna put it underneath this personnel list. So I'm just gonna drop this in. And what we're gonna need to do is I'm gonna tap on the mission part. Okay, so you gotta make sure that you're on the right hand panel, you have prototype selected so that you can start making all these prototype connections. What you're gonna wanna do is go to mission. You'll see a blue circle to the right of your component. Just drag that across and link it to your mission page. So for the settings, on tap is the way to go. There are I lost the camera again. Anyway, there are a few different animations that you can check out. I recommend starting with instant, but there are all these other options that you have, but let's just stick with instant. Okay. Now we want to test this out. So I'm gonna open up my Figma mirror. I'm gonna screen record it this time because we have no other option. We're into Figma mirror. Now let's go into our directory. And from our directory, what can we look at? Let's look at our missions. And there we have it. Our page is ready. And oh, I can see when the mission was, I can see who was on the mission, and a quick description of the mission. And if we scroll through the mission history, there are a few missions that I have went on recently. And if we want to go back, you can just tap on this back button or this arrow and it'll take you back. And that's the prototype. That's basically how you recreate your screens and link it through the prototype. So I'm gonna record with my poor MacBook quality camera. Hopefully it's okay. I just wanna say thank you for joining me on learning how to get this on your phone. Hopefully now you know how to do it. Hopefully now you can start recreating your own TemPad screens and TemPad prototypes. I'd be really interested to see what you guys come up with. So if you post anything, make sure to tag me, Muda Experience on Instagram if you post there, or yeah, just find a way to tag me on YouTube, I'm not sure, or remix me on, just send me a link in my Instagram DMs, I'll check it out. But yeah, thanks a lot for joining me. That's how you get this TemPad app onto your phone. And now we're gonna go to the outro that I recorded a few days ago in hopes of releasing this before the finale. If you guys watched the finale, what do you think of that? That was crazy. Leave a comment below. And I'll let my past self do the outro from before the multiverse was all branched out. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. It's super late and I'm struggling to put together my thoughts. So if any of this made no sense, I'm so sorry. Maybe I'll make another video, but I'm just trying to rush this out before the next episode comes out. But I'm gonna go into editing now. Maybe I'll make changes later. Thanks so much for making it to this point in the video. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 by, can we do the end of this month by August? That would be such an amazing achievement for me and for you guys and for the community of people trying to learn how to design. And I guess some people that are just here to have fun and play with movie props. But if you have any other suggestions of what I should design and build in a prototype, let me know. I'll do it because I did have a lot of fun with this. I'll just try and schedule it amongst all the other videos that I have in mind. But until then, I'll see you guys. I'm gonna go to sleep because it's late, and I'm gonna go.